and welcome to For the Love of Nature, a podcast where we tell you everything you need to know about nature and probably more than you wanted to know. I'm Fawks, Lapole.
And I'm Katy Holloway, and today is a special episode that we have been waiting so long for.
Yes.
It's one that we are going to try to bring back every season, and it is, Could You Ride That?
Every time we even say the title, I die.
Guys, we have been so excited to do this. This is something that has come up time and time again in just random conversations about just, could you ride that? Do you think you could ride that? Could you ride that?
I assume that, this is how some people have conversations of,
what's your favorite color?
Right. Or if you could marry anybody, who would it be? Or, stuff like that. But for us, it's, could you ride that animal?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's, yes, another episode that I've been preparing for my entire life. So the animal sex episode we've done, that was one, and now this is one.
Could you ride it?
I'm sure that when most people go to the zoo, they're filled with awe, joy, disgust, or any number of emotions when viewing the collection. They probably have questions about the animals, like what do they eat? Where do they come from? When I go to the zoo, I also feel awe and joy, but I only really have one question. Could I ride that animal?
Could you ride that?
So we just want to remind everyone that this podcast, although factual, is also sometimes just our opinion about things. Giant disclaimer for this episode. We absolutely do not think anyone should attempt to ride anything other than a domesticated trained animal. This discussion is just our deepest wishes.
Giant disclaimer.
Yeah.
Do not attempt
take any of this seriously. None of it.
Any knuckleheads out there are like, I heard it on For the Love of Nature that I need to go ride blank. We will come and personally slap you. But please, please, please play along with this game and comment of animals that you could ride. And why? So, Laura, do you want to go over the rules for the game? Did you say it?
Sure.
What was our
yes.
own?
We only have one. We decided beforehand how we had to have some. We had to figure out how we were going to do this episode, and we decided that there was only going to be one rule, and that is that we, Katy and I, have to believe that we are capably physical. Wow, I already screwed it up. Hold on, I gotta sneeze.
You're just combusting. I messed up. I'm laughing. I have to sneeze.
Okay. So we decided that we had to have at least one rule before we chose the animals that we did. And that was that Katy and I have to believe that we are capable of physically riding these creatures without the aid of saddle or reins. and I, at least, am assuming that the animal is allowing us to do so.
Yeah. Mine probably not so much. Yeah, it's a consensual ride.
As they all should be.
Yeah. So we did talk about a lot about what the parameters were. And so we want you to play along. And so like we said, we were kicking a bunch of stuff back and forth. And then we just decided about you know what? No, this needs to be like a game, like a gladiator, one versus one. Could you ride that back and forth? And that's whenever we decided, you know what? Just like Fight Club, this only has one rule. It's just no reins, harness. It just has to be, could you ride that? All right. So with that, are you ready for my number one? Or not my number one, but my first one.
So ready.
Ready? Bluefin tuna. Could you ride that?
I can see it. So I'm ready to hear how you think you could.
So, okay. So why do I want to ride that? Why not? So they go about 43 miles per hour. Slick, yes. Slick. But if you can reach down and grab its fins and go full Poseidon, I really think...
don't they have a fin on their back?
They do, but I still feel so the girth is could be up to 6 feet at the biggest part for
Holy crow.
Yeah, right. They're actually much, much bigger than you think. But I'm thinking if you can kind of towards the back of its tail, the back end, grab your legs around the back of the tail and then like reach up on the fins. Do you see what I'm saying? Kind of like reach forward.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I mean, 43 miles per hour underwater. I've never gone that fast underwater, so I'm not sure what that would feel like. But
your cheeks would be going like, blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
like
yeah, just underwater. Just up at 43 miles an hour, which would be so fast. But I feel like, given the opportunity, I could ride a bluefin tuna.
Yeah, I can see it. I think. Well, how far down did tuna swim near the surface?
I don't know. Let's just go full scuba gear. So I wouldn't need a harness or anything.
Right. Our only rule was saddle or reins.
Yeah, but I would need some underwater breathing apparatus to kind of help me out. Which
right. If you had that, then yeah.
Which, disclaimer, this is not the only time I will need scuba gear.
Nice. I might need it at some point too.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right. My number one, which is my absolute number one, is the polar bear.
I knew it. I knew it, and that's why I didn't even include
I talk about this
it
all the time.
I didn't even include any bears in my list because I was like, Laura's probably just going to name all out of how many bear species are there? 8. I was 8. Like, 8 out of her 10. So we each picked 10.
Kim told me I had to avoid some of the bears because you were going to do bears. So that's fine.
Oh, well, I mean, one of them, but
okay. Well, anyway, so I chose the polar bear, which is my absolute dream. I read his Dark Materials trilogy by Philip Pullman back in elementary school, and in the first book, The Golden Compass, the female protagonist rides a polar bear. I became obsessed with the idea, and I found other fictional books about relationships between humans and polar bears and just kept going.
Just got worse and worse.
So why do I want to ride a polar bear? Large, they're sturdy, and they look super comfy to ride on.
Also, if you're going into battle.
Right. It's just a badass.
Yes.
It's pretty much one of the most. But yeah, the thick fur would help keep me warm and snuggly while riding. I would feel really safe with a polar bear since they're giant apex predators. And they can run 35 miles per hour, swim, have amazing senses, and great endurance.
You put a lot of thought into why. I mean, I know you've been thinking of this for years. I was more just thinking a list of animals that I could physically ride.
Yeah, no. I was like, why would I? What is my motivation?
Why would I do
all of these reasons? I would love to ride all of the bears, as you said, but the polar bear would be the best for the above reasons.
Well, is that it? That was your reasoning?
Yeah.
Could you ride that? Yeah, polar bear.
Do you agree? Do you think I could?
Realistically,
we're assuming it allows it, because otherwise there's no way.
Are we though? Because I have some animals that I'm pretty sure wouldn't allow it, but I could still wrangle. Because I don't think a tuna would allow you. There's no way tuna
Not
gives
unless you're
permission.
like a tuna whisperer, yeah.
There's no way. I'm going to
assume it wouldn't try and murder me. Because that's what would happen. If I tried to get on a polar bear, I would be mauled to death.
But isn't that half the fun of could you ride that? It's like a bucking bull. You know what I mean?
Well, I've often said that, if I found out, it was the end of my life.
Just go for it.
That's how I want to go out.
Go for it. Riding
I would just go straight up there to the Arctic and try.
I will pay for your way up there. Well, then speaking of bears, so if it's, could
the Battle of the Bears.
Yeah, Battle of the Bears, could you ride that? So I picked the giant panda. So hear me out. Hear me out. So you and I both know how dumb pandas are.
Yeah.
I have a great place in my heart for pandas, but they're really dumb. So I looked up the definition of ride, and it is sit on and control the movement of an animal, especially a horse, typically as a recreation or sport. The second definition was be carried or supported by, and then in parentheses it says something with a great deal of momentum. And then the third definition was be full of or dominated by. So I figured we could just skip the third definition for this episode and concentrate on the first two. But with that, I would not say of why I would want to ride a panda bear, because you just could. Like, could you ride a panda bear?
Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So where a polar bear, I feel like it would still come up and mangle you before you got close enough. I'm pretty sure you could walk straight up to a panda and just jump on its back.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. But especially if it's a wild panda, because pandas in China are insanely protected. Like, you think we have laws here in America to protect animals? Like, they are not followed compared to, like, what would happen to you if you tried to harm a panda. Even if you were just trying to ride it. But you could totally, if there were no rules like that, if I'm positive, you could just walk up to a panda, jump on its back, and away you go. I mean, you would probably go tumbling down the hill with it.
Yeah,
but again,
I imagine it wouldn't be a very long ride.
But it would be something with great deal of momentum. So, I mean, even if you jump on it and you're flying, rolling down the hill, as long as you can stay on, you technically could still just ride a panda.
Yeah.
So could you ride that? I definitely know I could.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, if we're going with just jumping a wild animal, then yeah. Then yeah, I think the polar bear is less likely than a panda bear.
To be jumped. Pandas are dumb, and yeah, there wouldn't be much. Honestly, that most of the difficulty of jumping onto a panda, of riding it, would just be holding on as it's falling. You know what I mean? Like, because they just constantly fall. So I could ride that. If you have a rebuttal, I would love to hear it, because I really don't think with that one there is one.
I think probably a panda keeper could come up with one, but I don't. I just don't think.
I just think they're just too lovingly dumb to do. Again, this is one of the species that should be extinct but aren't, and
which we're probably going to do an episode on at some point too.
Oh, definitely. And this is definitely at the top of the list, is poor sweet pandas. So could you ride that? I know I could ride that.
Bless their hearts.
Right?
Well, my second one is the rhino. I'd say in particular the black rhino, if I had to choose.
Okay.
But rhinos.
Is there do you have justification for the white versus the black rhino? Of why you picked one over the other?
Black are usually smaller, and so I just think it'd be easier as being a short person to ride something.
Because what would you grab onto?
Less broad of a back.
What would you grab onto?
So, I think that if you sat like right up behind the neck, they have the neck right behind the neck on the shoulders. You could reach forward and hold onto the base of its ears as long as you were gentle.
So not only could you ride that, but now it's deaf because it can't hear anything. Because you're just squeezing,
not closing its ears.
Squeezing its ear
stalks. Yeah, I would. So why do I want to? Well, has anyone ever seen a rhino and not wanted to ride it? Because
I don't think so.
That's my immediate thought.
Yeah. They also have horrible eyesight, so I mean, they would not. It would be fairly easy to sneak up on a rhino.
Yeah. I think they're probably right. Yeah. So again, this is a large, sturdy animal that just looks comfortable to ride. They've got a big, broad back. They can run around at 30 miles per hour and apparently are really agile. Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't think a tank can turn, but they can. Their personalities, from what I know of rhinos, are just they're giant puppies. So I'm sure wild rhinos aren't as friendly as captive rhinos. But
we've met plenty of captive rhinos that are just sweethearts. So
yeah, they're so cute. Their little tails go up when they run. They're a straight up tank with a giant face horn. You would look super cool in a rhino. If we can ride elephants, why can't we ride rhinos?
Which is a valid point. That is a valid point.
That's how I feel about it. In fact, I'm surprised that we rode elephants before we rode rhinos. But I guess the eyesight would be a big deterrent. If, like, you'd have to... really steer.
Yeah, I think the thing with elephants, I mean, I don't know the history of when elephants started to be ridden for like far. I mean, that was kind of the purpose, was for moving logs, for logging.
Work,
you know, it was work. So I mean, maybe that played a role in it, that they didn't see like a. But I mean, plowing
maybe
fields?
Elephants were easier to train. I don't know.
I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, I'd have to look that up. I don't know.
But I think I could ride a rhino.
I think you could.
I think once you get up there, that would be the initial test. But once you got up there, I think you could.
That's what I was gonna say. You would have to like jump it from a tree.
Yeah. Yeah, just drop onto its back, and then you got it.
Just grab on as tight as you can. Goodness. Okay. All right. So my next one, elephant seal.
Oh, dude, it's funny that you mentioned this one. Okay, keep going.
Okay. So, why?
That would be terrifying.
Wouldn't it be terrifying?
Terrifying.
Why? Again, I mean, in the water, it would be fun. On land, it would be kind of, well, not kind of, it would be super pointless. Because, I mean, if you ever see it, they're just like, they flop. They don't really like, I mean, they get moving whenever they're being territorial and things like that, so they can move.
Good luck staying on a landed seal.
A landed seal, yes. That
without any tackle.
But I feel like that would be the obvious place to get onto it, would be the land. So maybe you would have to get one that's like already going into the ocean, because you're taking like a much tamer approach to this.
Just grab it on the last flop.
Yeah, right. Right before it goes into the water, just grab on. And so they are, they weigh about 1,000 pounds, about, give or take, and then
huge.
Length 13 to 16 feet. So they are huge. So maybe not a full grown seal, but maybe like a younger one. I just don't know. I don't know if physically you could do an adult male. I think it's just too, I think that one is just too big.
I agree. I think the girth wouldn't be feasible.
So a younger elephant seal, I think. What would it be like, other than terrifying? Because I feel
they got
like
giant teeth.
Yes, and they are very agile, but could you ride that? I still think I could. Maybe not very long, but I still think I could.
And or are you just relying on grip strength, like just grip, like leg grip?
Yeah, just grab on.
Because other than that, I feel like there's nothing to hold on to with a seal.
But I feel like I could for a little bit. Could I ride it? I still believe so.
Man, that would be really freaking cool if you could.
Right? I mean,
I think I first learned about elephant seals when I watched The Pebble and the Penguin.
Oh.
And they were like the bad guy in that movie.
Yes, they always,
the bad guys.
Happy feet, they're kind of like bad guys. They're always, and I mean, I will
they
say,
eat penguins,
Yeah, so of course they're bad guy and Happy Feet. But they are pretty territorial. They're huge. I mean, it kind of goes along like the same lines as a polar bear, where they're like,
any kind of predator would not be easy to ride.
No.
But worth it if you could.
Yeah, if you could, it would be awesome.
Nice. Right. I think you could if you could maintain your grip strength. I agree. I think it'd be a very short ride, but I think you could do it for a little.
Yeah, could, yes, little bit.
All right, my next one, the elk.
Of course.
Again, this has been a long time dream. I feel like elk are ridden or used for transport in a lot of like stories.
By the elves.
And there's something so majestic and graceful about an elk. But in particular, I would like to ride a bull elk. Like, obviously, antlers. So why? Elk can run at 40 miles per hour and have been known to outrun horses. They can jump 8 feet into the air.
That's another one, though, that I'm surprised hasn't been
agreed.
You know what I mean? That one's kind of shocking to me that more people don't ride elk, because people farm. They farm elk, but they raise elk. You know what I mean? Like the huge.
And like, do you think? I mean, we use reindeer for pulling sleds.
Yeah. Why haven't elk been? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But
missed opportunity, Laura.
Missed opportunity for sure. And it would feel amazing. I mean, can you imagine how it would feel to like the wind would be flying past you?
It would be majestic. That's the only word to describe it. Majestic.
Yeah. And I think that they seem way more capable of bearing my weight than like a white-tailed deer.
Oh, for sure.
So like I feel like physically an elk could actually carry my weight.
I feel like if you hopped on the back of a white-tailed deer, it'd be like jumping on like a marshmallow with toothpicks, and it would just like pop. You know what I mean? Like their legs would just snap.
And like obviously during breeding season would be the time that they're the most bulked up, but that would also be the scary time to try and jump them. But again,
from
also
the trees.
time of year when they have the antlers
from the trees.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like the set of antlers would be the perfect thing to hold on to, and it would look fierce as hell. Like man.
I also think though, if you just laid down and like grabbed around the neck, I don't even think you would need the antlers per se to be able to ride it.
I just think it would look cooler.
It would definitely look cooler if you could like sit up, because then you could like own it in your elvish attire going through the forest.
I almost did ride an elk once by accident, and I should have just
done it.
I should have just done it. But yeah, at one place that I worked.
Disclaimer: you should never ride elk.
At one place I was working, we had to remove an antler from an elk, and so it was tranquilized, and then we were told to restrain it. So I was like sitting on its shoulder, and it started to roll up.
Oh no!
And if I only would have just stayed on,
just a little bit
I jumped
longer.
off.
Chicken!
I missed it.
You missed your opportunity to be an elf for all but a few seconds even. All right, next one. Ready? Colossal squid.
Oh, I thought about a squid too.
Isn't that would be epic? All right.
Yeah.
Why not? Again, that's definitely, I need some scuba gear, but they can get up to 14 meters long, which is, I mean, colossal. Let's just, it's huge.
Colossal,
they're huge.
if you will.
Yeah. So they live like the bottom of South America, South Africa, all the way down to Antarctica. So definitely cold water, but anatomy wise,
where are you riding?
So here we go.
Squid?
There's one question that I have that I could not find the answer to, but where I was looking at it is if you grab between the fin on the top of their heads and the mantle, it like gets thinner there. And I think you could grab on and hold on there. But my question that I could not find the answer to is, can a squid bring their tentacles up?
Right.
Because it's not like it's not like an octopus. You know what I mean? Like it's not you know what I mean? Like they don't have like, they're not known for like that dexterity of like moving their tentacles everywhere. Yeah. So that's the only thing.
They have some, I know they can move their tentacles to catch food, but that's such a good question.
Is can they touch the top of their head?
Who's taking care of a squid? We need to know this answer.
Right? So that is my only thing, because as long as you stay away from the tentacles and whatever you freaking do not go near the beak. Then I think
I guarantee, it would grab you if it could grab you with a tentacle, it would grab you and then just eat you.
Eat you for sure. And I just think if you just, as long as you stay away from the beak, and if you could get between the fin and the mantle and just hang on for your freaking life, I think I could, with some pretty good scuba gear, I really think I could ride a colossal squid.
Dang. Yeah, and it would have to be when they come up a little higher, because otherwise, even with scuba gear, you'd be crushed.
Deep. Yeah, it's so deep. But I mean, they get washed. I mean, they've been caught.
And they do sometimes come up higher.
So I think if given the opportunity, I could ride a colossal squid.
Woof. Mm-hmm. I think yes, as long as we don't find out they can grab you with their tentacles.
Yeah, that and I looked and I could, but I mean also just typing into Google, can squids touch the top of their heads with a tentacle? Doesn't that's not an often. Do it. That's also not an often asked question that Google.
Unfortunately, I don't know anybody who's a squid keeper.
No, not of colossal squids anyway. No.
Granny squid. I'm sure, like...
Could you imagine
No.
what they would have to do to exhibit a colossal squid? First, we need just blackness. Second, we need pressure. Because they can't, like, they're adapted for deep, deep, deep sea life. Man, that'd be crazy. But totally off topic. But I really feel like I could ride it. It's this sweet spot between the fin and the mantle.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking mine back on to the land. I'm going to remain there for most of the time. I'm not really a water person, but my next one was the bison.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel
like people ride bison.
I was going to say, I'm sure that someone at least has tried.
Okay, I live in Texas. I'm positive I've seen people with pictures on bison. Between that and, like, huge freaking steers. Because, like, people will just ride
Yes, I've definitely seen people ride cows. And water buffalo.
Yes.
But I don't know if I've never personally seen someone ride a bison. I'm sure someone's tried it, though.
Let me look.
And with my own 2 eyes, I have seen someone place an infant on the back of a bison. Which is a terrible idea.
Why?
So, let's pretend that at least it's uncommon enough that it can still be on this list. Why do I want to ride a bison? I think I'm just a real big fan of tanky animals. They look big, strong, easy to sit on.
So if you look, can you ride a bison at Google Images, there are several images of people riding fairly small, but bison.
Okay.
You can definitely ride them. I think they all have, oh, nope, not everyone has saddles on either.
I was just going to say, did they have gear? What about reins? Most of them barebacking this bison.
Yeah, most of them do have reins, but I mean, that's just strictly because that's, they're trying to do the docile part of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, keep it under control.
Well, I'm going without reins. So I think if I sat, are they sitting, my thought was to sit right behind the head on the shoulders.
Oh, no, they go back behind,
what?
Yeah, whatever.
That's madness. It slopes. Their back slopes so much. I think you'd slip right off.
So a lot of these pictures, though, I mean, they're sitting on them just fine. I think in our minds, it slopes more than what it actually does once you sit on it. Because if you look at the picture, I mean, these people seem like they're sitting on it quite comfortably. They're not like sliding backwards.
Yeah. Well, at least large male bisons have giant humped shoulders and their backs slope. So I was thinking if you sit on the shoulder where it's really fuzzy, and that would give you extra traction and basically be a saddle.
Gotcha.
And that they can run about 35 miles an hour, which is respectable, and that they're incredibly hardy animals that laugh at blizzards, so they seem like they could take on anything.
Oh, yeah.
So, I suppose that one, some people have tried it, but I'd still like to ride one.
Just because.
And it's not as common as, like, a horse or a camel.
Oh, goodness, no. No. All right, so my next one, green anaconda. So, why? I don't have a why.
Isn't that in some show or something?
Say
somebody
what?
Right? Isn't that in some movie, like an animated movie or something? Never mind.
I don't know. Again, mine aren't so much of why, but could I? And I definitely could. 16 feet in length, about typically 70 to 150 pounds in South America. And going by the previous definition of to ride, technically, you could float on one of these suckers, and if it squeezes you, technically, you're still riding it before you die. So
you float as in, so are you talking about riding it on land or riding it in the water?
I think both. I think if you rode it on land, you wouldn't have enough. If you'd be
pretty heavy for it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking if you floated on it, riding it, before it, because it's obviously going to snag you and try to, it's going to try to suffocate you. So, or squeeze you and then suffocate you. Before that happens, I think there's a time where you could technically ride a green anaconda. I will say though, coming across large snakes in water, that's like quicksand. You know how you grow up thinking, all the movies, everything prepares you for being terrified of quicksand. You never come across quicksand as an adult. But I also feel like green anacondas, like Swiss Family Robinson, like all of these movies had like, well, if you're in the water and
the live action Jungle Book.
Yeah. Clearly there's going to be an anaconda coming after you. And so, conquer that fear of water animals killing me.
I see images of kids riding like boas a lot online.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I think you could do it.
Might just be slowly on land.
Yeah. I think you could do it even in the water if it was like a domesticated snake, for sure.
Oh, for sure if it was domesticated. If it was wild, I think it would try to kill you. And
I think it might not try and eat you, but I think it would
technically that's still
it would be like
riding.
holding on to a noodle. Like I don't even think it would try and kill you. I think it would be like holding. I don't think you could hold on to it if it fought.
I don't know. I think it would try. I think it would try to grab you and wrap up first.
Yeah, I think it would. I guess it depends.
Which technically would be riding.
Right. If it tried to constrict you, okay. But if it tried to get away, I don't believe you could hold on.
I think that would be very difficult to hold on to it.
Because it'd be so muscular and just like, there's nothing to hold on to. Yeah.
And away it goes. I don't know how fast green anacondas go in the water, though.
I don't know. Probably pretty quick.
Okay, so on land, anacondas are capable of reaching up to 5 miles per hour. So it's safe to say I can outrun an anaconda.
Right.
But in water, anacondas have the ability to maintain speeds of 10 miles per hour. If stalking prey, they have a tendency to move at 8 miles per hour, which is still pretty quick.
I mean, yeah, that's faster than I swim, so.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. It's definitely fast. It's definitely fast. So 8 mile an hour noodle.
Yeah.
I think it would be difficult, but I still think it would try to, if it couldn't get away from you, if you tried to actually ride it. I think if you got near it, it would try to get away from you. If you, again, jumped on it from above, I think it would try to wrap you up before it would get away.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, alrighty, go ahead.
My next one's the cassowary. Because why not?
Yes. Toe knives.
Yes. Bringing it back. So humans have already ridden ostriches.
Heck yes.
Which can carry 200 pounds, according to what I could find. They're 7 to 9 feet tall, and they're about 230 pounds themselves. So I was trying to think, if a cassowary, I did some math here. The cassowary is 4 to 5.5 feet tall and around 150 pounds, and it could hold the same weight ratio as an ostrich, they could theoretically carry 130 pounds.
Okay, it can carry me. We're good. Right. We're good.
If I were in perfect shape, I could make this work. I'm pushing it, but
I think it could. I know I could ride a cassowary. Again, come at it from above and just
drop
grab
on. Hold on. Yeah, because on that, I mean, it would be easy to hold on to its giant neck. So I think
we did go to a farm, and whenever I was in South Africa, we went to an ostrich farm, and because they still race ostrich. Ostrich racing is still like huge around the world, and so so the technique. For those of you who don't know the ostrich riding technique, you can easily ride them with no equipment. So you jump on their back and you have to tuck your legs almost like a jockey, like
under their wings?
Under their wings. Okay. Under their wings. And you put their wings on top of you and you scoot up like as close as you can to the neck. Tuck your legs up like a jockey, like so they're kind of scrunched, and then pin their wings, because they want to go back with their wings anyway, for the most part, especially whenever they're running, they're moving. They're not just going to like have their wings out. So they typically tend to pin the wings back, especially if you push them down. They just kind of hold you in place, and then you just grab onto the neck and away you go. Yeah.
So I think if you can do it with an ostrich, you could do it with a cassowary as long as you were light enough.
Yes.
Because they're a little smaller. Why do I want to ride one? I mean, giant bird, fast, jumps really high, tow knives, you'd be unstoppable.
You can take the polar bear and I'll take the cassowary, and those will be our like apocalypse ride animals.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like ride it. Can you imagine like an army of cassowary riding warriors?
That would be that. I would have to go full. Okay, so apocalypse plan here. All right, you are on a polar bear.
Yeah.
I'm on a cassowary, which are two totally different ecosystems. But I'm sure we can make it work.
Thinking, so I'm like unshaved and like hairy legs and wearing like different different
You can
furs
finally
and
let
different
your leg hair
furs and
grow out.
hides. I'm going to like try and look like I'll have the Viking apocalypse look.
I've already told Carl that if there is an apocalypse and we're in it, I am shaving my head. I have curly hair. I do not have time to take care of my hair during an apocalypse. At least
I
half
would get
of
dreads.
Yes, either dreads
or like
or
shave
shave.
the sides like I have now, but like the top would all be like
Dreads. Oh, there you go. I would have to.
look really cool.
I just imagine and paint or dye my hair blue to match the
I would get a
cassowary.
facial tattoo. I immediately would get a facial tattoo, I think, as in the apocalypse. But
That would be some shady. That would be like jail tattoo. If you're in the apocalypse, I feel like that would be a jail tattoo process.
yeah,
I would
true.
do. I would ride a cassowary though. Could you? Absolutely. And I think I could too. Should you? Absolutely not. But could you? I think so.
Alrighty.
My next one. Ready?
Yes.
Japanese spider crab. So,
Ooh, are those giant,
Yup.
like long?
yep,
Ugh.
reach up from.
Wait, aren't they deep ocean?
Fairly deep. Yeah, listen, I didn't say you're talking about riding a polar bear.
Yeah, but you said physically able to.
Yeah, they can still come up. They've come up. Yeah, so they can.
That's all I care about. Yeah,
They
if you could
can-
physically not be crushed by pressure.
Yeah. So they can reach up to 12 feet from piggy toe to piggy toe and can weigh up to 42 pounds.
Except they don't have toes. But I love picturing they have one
Right.
pinky,
Just
little
one
pinky toe.
piggy toe on each little foot. So if 12 feet and if you're underwater, you could definitely ride that because it's not like they're very fast. The one and the only thing I really know about Japanese spider crabs is from one episode of Octonauts that I watched with Luke, and they talk about the Japanese spider crab, and they seem nice enough in that show. So I mean, why not?
I think so. I mean, you could easily grab a crab just for a short
giant crab, especially if it's 12 feet, because most of it's just legs. Like most of that 12 feet, it's not like a 12-foot. The body, I didn't find any like size on the actual body, but the actual body itself is pretty darn small.
Yeah,
but
I think I've seen one in person.
I have too. They have them in aquariums. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can't be that deep pressure. So if I jump into a tank with one, I definitely could ride one.
Oh, yeah.
One cool fact I found about them, though, that I did not know, is they can lay upwards of 1.5 million eggs in a season.
Whoa.
That's a crazy amount of eggs.
Boy, I bet a lot of their babies must die if they're
Right?
laying that many.
If they have to do that many. But I mean, I bet it's probably, and I don't know how Japanese spider crabs find each other, but that might be a factor of just
That's true, too.
finding them to actually finding
You don't
a
do it
mate.
often.
Yeah, do you have to make the most of it? One shot, make the most of it. So
Millions.
millions of offspring. So could you ride that? I definitely think you could. Huge.
agree.
Definitely
I agree
think
with
you
that one.
could.
All right, my next one is finally under the water. My next one is the whale shark.
Oh, that's an absolute yes. That's an
Right.
absolute yes.
So another lifetime goal of mine that is actually attainable.
Yeah.
Because swimming with whale sharks is something that you can do right now at
Yes.
the Georgia Aquarium and off the coast of California and Mexico. I don't want to just swim near one though. I want to ride it. I want to get on that back, hold on to the fin, and go for it.
It would definitely let you to.
Right. So, I mean, they're gentle giants. They're the largest shark and the largest fish, and all they do is eat plankton. They're massive. They weigh 20 tons, and they're up to 65 feet long.
That's
so
nuts.
I just think it'd make you feel so small, but in a good, like, awe-inspiring way.
Yes.
And you could say that you rode a shark. But, like, you'd know
But it's
it
a
was
whale
a safe
shark.
shark.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a safe shark. Out of all the sharks, it is the safest shark.
So the only issue that I could see would be that you could either only ride it in short bursts near the surface without equipment, or you'd need scuba gear.
Yeah. I mean, we're
But
using
other than
scuba
that-
gear for so many other ones. You
Right.
definitely could. Whales, and you were saying like it would just be like an amazing experience. I underestimated whales until I actually went on it wasn't even for whale watching, it was for a diving on the Great Barrier Reef. And whenever we were going out, we happened to see a couple whales. And that, after that experience, again, that is definitely one of the many tattoos that I want that I don't have because that was one of the most I don't know, and maybe I'm just more sensitive to this stuff because I like animals and, I'm in that kind of world, the animal world, but it was just like a mind blowing experience to see them in the wild and to see them interact with humans. Like and it was humpback whale. And so for how large of an animal it is, it wasn't even like, it's similar to being around like an elephant, where it's like, that they have like an extra sense that they know, like you don't know.
And I mean, and we know how intelligent whales and elephants are.
Yes. And that was definitely one. So whale shark, I mean, is up there. I mean, it's just a sweet animal. You could definitely ride that. Yeah. Any whales in general.
Hopefully we'll one day.
Yeah. And not be arrested. Right. Alrighty. Well, going from pretty docile to it will kill you if you try to ride it, a hippo. It would murder you. So if you could...
They're so slippery too, I imagine, but maybe not.
I think if it just dried out. Yeah, I think it dried out hippo.
Dried out hippo.
I think so. Could you ride a dried out hippo? I think I could. Probably not a full grown one just because they are super big. But for those of you who don't know, hippos are extremely deadly. So a lot of people give like crocodiles and stuff credit, but hippos, man, they are aggressive and
they will come after you on purpose. Like it's not just like, hey, I was swimming through here. Like they'll chase you. Yeah,
they are aggressive. So it would be insanely dangerous. That is by far I think the most dangerous one. Yeah, that I have on my list. Elephant seal is up there, but I genuinely think
I think the hippo, would be pretty
worse
awful.
Because it's much faster on land than an elephant seal. Like there's just hardly any getting away from a hippo. I've seen hippos in the wild, and I was in Africa, and I was at a very far distance, but we were talking to some locals, and they were like talking about how they would go down to the river. And there was a small pocket, but there were still wild hippos down there. And they even said, they're like, you get the freak away from them. Like, just don't get near them.
I'm pretty sure the most people die in Africa from hippos.
From hippos.
Like, wildlife-wise.
Yeah, because they tip boats. They go after you. They typically don't. They're not going to like consume you. It's
right. They just want to kill you.
They just want to kill you. Yeah. So they leave the eating up to crocodiles and fish and all these other things that will just eventually come and find your body. But they will do the killing. But could you ride that? I still think you could. I still think you could ride it.
I think there'd be plenty to grip on to. Like again, they've got the same kind of ears as like a rhino. If you get on the shoulders,
very similar to a rhino.
Ears.
Yeah. Very similar concept. Could you ride it? I think I could. Why?
Until it splashed into the water, and then maybe not then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Once it gets slippery. I don't know. Once it gets slippery enough, maybe not. But could you ride it? I still think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could for sure. I ride a dry hippo. Well, in the same note, something that will kill you. I have a couple predators on my list. I just think they're amazing and I want to ride them. So my next one is a tiger.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
I feel like I could have predicted. I feel like I should have been able to predict most of your list. I knew the bears right away, and I knew big cats would come into it at some point.
So, although this might seem suicidal, this is a thought experiment, okay? So, everyone,
put your pretend hat on. And
Right. Why? Because in my opinion, they're the most beautiful of the big cats, and they're also the largest. So, physically feasible.
It could handle,
Right. A Siberian tiger weighs up to 660 pounds and is about almost 11 feet long.
That's just
So
terrifying, though.
Right? Totally, but definitely think it could carry me, considering they occasionally prey on elephants.
Which is so, again,
and that's not even the Siberian tiger that does that.
Yeah.
But, they can run for short bursts of 40 to 50 miles per hour, which is no joke.
Oh my gosh. They just get worse. Like, what? Oh my gosh.
Death machines.
Yes, yes, 100%.
They look pretty comfy to ride on since they have a flat back. You could get down like real low, I think, and just kind of like hold on. That's how I was envisioning, like around the neck, like lay on the back and hold on to the neck.
That would definitely be if you had like a domesticated, raised from a cub warrior in apocalypse mode. I don't know why we just keep getting into apocalypse. Well, I guess because it's the
predators. What else would be?
Well, survival. I mean, you're trying to survive at that point. A tiger.
It would not,
oh my
it would
gosh.
look intimidating and protect you.
Yes, for sure. Gosh, they're terrifying. I mean, that is definitely. Man, that's just so scary. Like going through the woods. Oh, they just death machines.
Yeah, so them and polar bears, I think, would be, like, I'd be pushing it to try and ride one.
Yes.
And I definitely think, like, a polar bear, maybe you could maintain a grip on, but I do not think if that cat didn't want me on its back that I would have any chance of being on.
Absolutely not.
It would just...
But like, they're also, it's a cat, so it's flexible. If it wanted to get you off of its back, it would.
Right. There would be no... So this has to be a consensual deal. There is no
consensual. Could you ride that?
I do not think that I could ride this if it was a wild tiger, nor would I try.
Yeah. Okay, my next one. I only have 2 more here. Okay, so my next one is a definitely could you ride that, but I feel like I still had to say it because I could definitely ride that. A wildebeest. I mean,
I've met one in real life, and
I mean. Dumb looking. I mean, not like a very fearsome creature.
And not particularly large either, but you're also pretty small, so I think it could do it.
Exactly. I still think it can be done. They're pretty fast. I mean, and so if you were looking and, primarily they just run away from things. So if you're in a survival setting, which I feel like, that's all we keep going back to, but I feel like if you were in a survival setting, I feel like that would be a great getaway. You know what I mean? They hear a predator. They could just bolt out of there.
Take off.
Yeah. Why? Again, it's just the sole fact that I could ride it. And what would it be like? I feel like it would be really easy to just... I mean...
Yeah, because I think you could lay on its back and hold on to its horns.
Yeah, very easily.
Because they're really not that big.
No. So again, Kava, now I'm going to look up how... Because I forget how much they actually weigh.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely smaller than like most cattle, but they're not tiny.
Aha. Everything's in kilos. 250.
250 kilos. Is it 2 point something kilos to a pound?
How many did I say? How many kilos did I say? Kilograms?
250.
250.
So I think it's a little over 500 pounds.
Yeah, a little over 500. Yeah, see, I think it could.
Yeah, I think you
for sure. Yeah. So could you ride it? I mean, I think it would be easy, and it even has like that fluff mane, going down.
Extra grip.
Yeah, extra grip. I think it would be easy. They have great. I mean, their whole point is to escape, but also their migration, it's like a huge migration. So if you were like out on a plane and you needed to move around for food, that would be a very effective animal to be able to ride to go a long distance.
Right, a hardy, like the bison.
Yes, to go a long distance, to cover a lot of ground. I think you could do it. So wildebeest, I definitely could ride it.
So my next one is a lot like, so I had been thinking about like the elephant seal, but I decided, no, I need something that I think I could better hold on to. And so I chose a sea lion.
Sea lion. Okay.
Because,
not as much girth.
Right. I think sea lions look cooler and they've got ears. So at the very, very least, I would not grab a sea lion's ears.
Oh, they're too tiny.
But I think that they have necks that are thinner. So,
yes.
like, I think I could grab its neck. So, Why do I want to ride a sea lion? Because that would be like my speedy ocean animal. Like, whale shark isn't getting me anywhere.
No.
That's just for
It's huge. It looks impressive, but you're not
Right.
going anywhere anytime fast.
But I found that the Stellar sea lion, which is the biggest one, the males can weigh 2,500 pounds and reach 11 feet.
Again,
So,
that's just huge.
I do
Unnecessarily
not-
large.
Yeah, I do not need it that big of a sea lion. So I will choose a slender female. But they can swim 25 miles per hour in short bursts, which is way faster than me. And I think it'd be relatively easy to hold on to their necks. They are very intelligent, and I could, if I formed a relationship with this sea lion, I think they'd be super easy to train.
Yeah.
And they're
Find
also
food, everything.
Right. They're no softy either. They do have very sharp teeth, so it's not like a totally defenseless animal.
Yeah.
That, like it could do some damage if it needed to.
It's not like a wildebeest who's going to just run for its life. Which is effective in most cases, but a sea lion could fight back.
I feel
if
like
needed.
riding a sea lion would be a lot like riding a dolphin. Like, I think it could be done and not even that difficult as long as you, took a little time.
But yeah, I could see that. I could see that. All right, my last one is the giant forest hog.
Oh, so cool.
Right?
Oh my gosh, how did I not include a pig in my list? Dude, I already have okay.
See? All right.
I'm so upset because I already have a pig that I want to ride.
Mm-hmm. All right, so from 4 to 7 feet in length, 2.5 to 3.5 feet tall, but these suckers are huge weight-wise, 220 to 600 pounds. You could 100% ride a giant forest hog. And also, they come in, groups.
Where are they from?
We have feral hogs here. Central Africa.
Okay.
So, they are aggressive, they're brutal, but they're also very hairy because they are forest, jungle. But so you could totally just grab onto all that fur. And I feel because they travel in packs, you could ride one, but then have a pack. I don't even know if they're called packs. What is a group of hogs called? That's
a great question. A herd? I would say it's probably a herd, but maybe not. A herd of
a passel.
A parcel?
Passel. P-A-S-S-E-L.
A passel.
A group of pigs is... Oh, wait. Hold on a second. A group of pigs is called a drift or a drove. A group of young pigs is called a litter. A group of hogs is called a passel or a team. Okay, we're using team. So it's me on one with my team of other killer hogs around me.
Dude, that's definitely that is probably number 3 on my list. It would be polar bear, elk, and then a pig. That would be, again, what a great apocalypse animal. Not even a predator even, but talk about an animal that would be intimidating.
Right? Just a ginormous hog.
And I honestly can't believe that people don't ride pigs more, because you totally could. And they're so smart.
I wish you guys could see Laura's face right now and how seriously she just said that last sentence. Well, I don't know why they don't ride pigs more often.
Yeah, because they're so smart, so easily trained.
They're incredibly smart.
The Russian boar.
Yep.
Are thousands of pounds. Yeah,
they're ginormous. Yeah. I didn't want to go that big. I figured, and also I figured jungles, forests of Central Africa, food is around. You know what I mean? There's resources around, and just a team of them would be awesome.
Yeah. I have been face to face with the Russian boar, and it is It is so big. It's unbelievably
huge,
big pig. And you could put a saddle on that thing. Although it's not very tall, it's definitely as wide as a miniature horse.
Oh, goodness, yes.
You could definitely saddle a pig.
And there's the quote from this episode. You can definitely saddle a pig. Oh, goodness.
Well, I have 2, if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
Okay. I was trying to... I chose ones that I really wanted to ride, and then I wanted to choose some that I thought would be practical in different situations. So I chose like a water animal, and this is my climbing animal.
Oh.
So I have never even heard of this animal before I looked it up, but it's called the markhor, which is the largest species of wild goat.
How do you spell that?
Markhor.
Looking this up right now.
So it comes from the mountains of Central Asia.
Okay. I've seen this thing. Mostly because the horns stand out, because it's so spirally.
Yes. So they're a little over 3 feet tall at the shoulder. So I'd have to be pretty lean to ride.
Yeah.
Because they only weigh up to like 250 pounds. And I mean, they're not very big. But like maybe Laura in her best shape could ride a markhor. Why do I want to? Because as gross as I think goats can be, which I do, they are also pretty cool.
And agile. I mean, if they're living in the mountains.
That was one of my things.
Agile.
Yeah, I want to ride something so agile, yet sure-footed.
Yes.
They have excellent eyesight and sense of smell, which would be great for detecting danger. Like, this would be a cool animal if you were, like, on the run.
Ooh,
and you need to be like, hide in the mountains of Central Asia, then
Find
this
your
is your
markhor.
animal. It would detect danger, and they have huge spiraled horns that can grow up to be 5 feet long, which is taller than they are.
Yeah.
So perfect handles,
right?
I said, I imagine that I would look like I was riding a bearded badass Harley motorcycle, like a lowrider,
Definitely.
Unfortunately, these are critically endangered animals, so good luck me finding one.
Yeah.
But if I could.
Man, just as you're saying that they're critically endangered, if you Google image them, all you find are pictures of people who have shot them.
Jerks.
Which is probably why. They're for, like, big game.
Probably. And then my last one, okay, this one, Katy, is my most far-fetched one. But I was like, I want to be able to fly.
I had a Japanese spider crab.
Nope, this is it. This is more, I think.
What?
Okay, because I want to be able to fly. And so how would I be able to fly? I think I could ride a small flock of harpy eagles.
A small.
Particularly,
not just one, a flock of harpy eagles.
Yeah, it has to be 7. At least 7.
At least, yes.
Yeah. So this is, hear me out. The harpy eagle is the largest species of eagle, and they normally prey on monkeys and sloths.
Yes.
So
they are terrifying.
Right. And so a sloth can weigh up to 17 pounds, and they can carry sometimes 20.
So if you had 7 harpy eagles.
7 harpy eagles that could grab and pick me up in their 5-inch talons, I feel like that's technically riding them. I don't know.
Or are they riding you?
Right. What was so carry, but isn't carried a definition of ride in your one of your, isn't that the second?
Okay. So it was sit on and control the movement of, typically as a recreation or sport, be carried or supported by.
Be carried by, right? I could be carried by 7 harpy eagles. So if you did the math, that's how much I weigh. And, so
7 harpy eagles.
I want to, because of course I could fly, and they have wicked feather dews and look fierce as hell.
That would be scary.
That you would not be in awe of someone who comes swooping in carried by 7 giant eagos.
That would be scary.
Best entrance ever.
With like you would have to hold a speaker too with your own entrance music. Just coming down.
Yeah.
I don't know what the song would be, but it would be amazing.
Yeah, AC/DC.
Yes.
Something by AC/DC.
Yes.
Or just you with your little megaphone being like
making your own music. Goodness.
So it's not just one animal, but
7.
I figured
7 of them.
It's the same one species of
that would be the same thing as me, being carried by 18 kangaroos, just lay down, or 2,000 mice, same thing. Same thing.
That'd be so cool. Just whistle and like 2,000 mice come, and you just gently lay down on all these soft furry bodies.
It carries you away.
Yeah, but it'd be so slow, like a little conveyor belt. That would be the opposite of a good entrance. It'd be like the worst exit. I'm leaving. It's just it's really slow.
Well,
so I feel like that one doesn't really count, but I wanted to mention it because I thought it was good.
might as well. Just right there along with 2,000 mice. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our completely unrealistic. Remember, do not try anything that you listen to tonight.
Correct.
And please play along. Let us know, could you ride that? What would you ride? Your justification for it. And yeah, so just
to clarify, it would be an animal that you could ride with no reins or saddle.
Yes, that's the one and only rule of could you ride that? No reins or saddles.
Because I think if you just say, let us know what you could ride, I don't want to know those answers.
Yeah.
So it has to be an animal with no saddle or reins.
Yeah. Try to keep it.
I don't believe in the internet enough to not give them that
right?
rule.
Yeah, we had to at least set some normal human parameters here. All right, so follow us along on social media at FTLON on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, FTLON Podcast. And then that's the best way to interact with us. And we want to hear from you guys, so go there and let us know, what would you ride if you could ride that?
Tune in next week.
All right, bye, guys.